Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way over Anime King. I already posted a brand new episode over Anime King 2. Yes, if you're new, you heard all of that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, the Sand was in deep crap. They were gonna bring the suspicion that they were, well, used by Orochimaru to not get on the wrath of Minato. After all, having that man turn against their village right now would certainly mean the end of them. So they had to make sure they chose their words wisely to get back on the good grace of Minato. Tsunade came back to the village, as she was able to remove the toxin from the kids. Some of them would never fully be back to normal, as it would take away certain mobility from them, movements of their arms or legs. But she saved more than a few. The toxin in their system seemed like to have a mind of its own. When she tried to remove it, was going deeper and trying to destroy all of their organs. She didn't know what it was exactly, but it was dark, corrupted and twisted, more vile and deadly than it could destroy her. As Minato took in all of that information, with a tired sigh, the man was incredibly tired. He has been through a lot after all. Meanwhile, as Naruto was currently at the Hidden Stone, waiting, as Oniki people had come back and got the information, Kurosaki kept on running her mouth, as she told Naruto that she didn't trust him and when time comes she was gonna kill him. As she kept on talking, it started to annoy him. As he got to his feet, he stepped forward, but Oniki arrived, as a man told him that the town was confirmed to be destroyed, as both him and Naruto made the deal, as he decided to keep his word for now. But when Naruto was gone, he did not intend to keep that deal. After he destroyed Konoha, he was gonna kill Naruto. Yes, that boy was too untamed for anyone to control, and he wasn't about to chance it, as Kurosaki could get behind that. After all, she hated that brat, as he was gonna go off for 3 years doing God knows what. Sasuke went away from the village as he left with the masked man. After seeing the man Sharingan, Sasuke determined that it was the only way for him to get stronger. This village couldn't help him anymore. Minato was shocked by this news, but yet there wasn't anything he could do about it because he had no idea where the hell Sasuke was. As the others, Menma, couldn't believe it. How could Sasuke just leave like that? As Mito remembered their last talk, she didn't think that Sasuke was gonna leave, so she never made much of it. But now, she couldn't believe it as Sasuke was gone. As Minato was getting more and more angry that everything was going wrong. Meanwhile, as Orochimaru sent out a team to go and find Naruto, which they did, find him and Gaara. As Naruto got annoyed seeing that he was interrupted, he was about to kill them until he heard who they came from. It's about time he had a chat with the snake as he made his way there. As Naruto gave Orochimaru a way to contact him, Orochimaru wanted to strike, but there was something that stopped him from doing so. As the body of Naruto was rather complex, he would like to see what happened after this 3-year training. Yes, it would be rather intriguing. Meanwhile, Mito took up training from Tsunade, including with Sakura by her side, as Menma was gonna go on a 3-year training trip with Jiraiya. As he said his goodbyes to Hinata and everyone, He promised to come back stronger as possible, as when he do come back he was planning on killing Naruto, and nothing would stop him from doing that. So yeah guys, that's basically what I thought of you guys again. Switch across and please check it for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? We begin this new episode in a cave. Several members were gathered, all of them looking like a hologram. One of them though were real. It was a plant man, half white, half black. Zetsu, the spy of the Akatsuki. There is still no sightings of the one or 9 tails. It seems that they have fallen off the face of the earth. Perhaps they died, a voice said. This voice belonged to a man with silver hair. It was Hidan. Yes, Hidan was a part of this little organization now. Well, who killed him? Asked Kakazu. I heard about him. He has quite the bounty on his head. After what he did at Konoha, and what he did against his own father. I don't think he's dead, the leader said, speaking up as he looked towards Zetsu. Neither is the One Tails. It has been 3 years since they dropped off the face of the earth. By now, that power should have revived. As you said, Zetsu, there's been no sightings of them at all. Am I correct? Zetsu simply nodded. Then, they must be in hiding. Continue your search. When we do find them, they will be captured and taken. As the leader was talking, someone else there clenched their fist tight. It was none other than the newest recruit, even after Hidan, who joined the Akatsuki. Black hair, his eyes showing. Those red gleaming eyes. The only one left in his clan besides the one that taught him for these past 3 years. It was none other than Sasuke Uchiha, now a part of the organization that was hunting after Bijus. Sasuke had a lot of thinking to do over the years. His main goal was to kill Naruto, but there was a lot that has changed with him. He had gotten a lot colder, more wicked, and more deadly, as he was trained by the man that called himself Madara Uchiha. Yet the man was not here. Sasuke knew the reason why. He knew a lot of things that he wasn't supposed to know. As for the others, we still plan to take each of them. But for now, Zetsu, continue your search. We have a little more time. See what you can find up, anything that you can, on the 9 and 1 Tails. The rest of you do the same. They are essential to the plan. You're all dismissed, and with that they all vanish. Opening his eyes back at the Hinarame was none other than the leader of the Akatsuki. The man was in a rather strange situation given his posture, as someone walked over towards him. Do you think they're dead? The emotionless voice of a female could be heard. No. I think they're out there somewhere hiding. I have not taken much interest in that boy, but from what I've heard, he's done a number on Konoha, even able to escape under the fort without his watch. He should be quite powerful, but like the others he will fall, because my plan will not be stopped. The leader of the Akatsuki spoke, as the girl simply nodded. 3 years it has been. A lot has changed over 3 years. For one, Hina was a part of the Akatsuki. As we skipped towards Konoha, the village had recovered somewhat over the past 3 years. All of the buildings had been rebuilt, as Konoha was still one of the strongest nations, not to mention with a man known as Yellow Flash. It could let other nations bow down. But things hasn't been so good over the past 3 years. Minato had spoken. He went to the sand himself. They apologized. They literally begged for his forgiveness. The only thing they didn't do was go on their knees and beg with their head down on the ground. But everything else they did, they offered so much. An alliance between marriage. But Minato gave them the benefit of the doubt. After talking over the council, he was gonna trust them once again. But their actions weren't let off that easily. A large number of their missions were sent towards Konoha to be completed by Konoha Shinobi, as the money was being used to rebuild Konoha. The sand couldn't afford it at the time. They had to push their limits, but it was their fault for getting caught up in Orochimaru's schemes. After all, none of them thought to think that this was stupid. So Minato knew that somewhat it was their fault. After all, they wanted Konoha to fall as well, and they did come there with the intent to kill all the shinobis. And Minato wouldn't forgive them that easily, although over the past 3 years things had somewhat mellowed out. Relationship between them has gotten sturdier than before because they knew that if they wrong Konoha once again, they will fall. But that wasn't a problem. Shinobis, Genins to be exact, could not be sent out on C-rank missions, anything that leave the border. One after another, Konoha ninjas were being picked off. The culprit was a hidden stone. Minato didn't think that Oniki would be so stupid to try anything once again, to start up another war. In better sense of the term, they were in a war. But yet it wasn't a full-blown out war because ninjas were being attacked, to the point where they fought back and killed stone shinobis. But Oniki had the galls to say that those ninjas were nothing but missing limbs. And the crazy thing about it was, all of them had their headbands stretched out. So Minato couldn't fault Oniki for this. After all, missing limbs come after Konoha ninja for their own benefit, and Oniki said he has nothing to do with them. That was pissing off Minato as he knew that Oniki was behind this. Minato was in his office. Things hasn't been going well for the past 3 years. And the main problem was Naruto, who he hadn't heard a single thing about, not even with Jiraiya's spine at work. There has been nothing about him, nothing about Sasuke, nothing about Orochimaru. The whole world seemed to went quiet all of a sudden. And whenever something like that happened, a storm was coming. But for one thing though, Minato was happy because he get to see his boy again. Menma was coming back from his training trip. Someone walked in his office, as it was none other than Mito, followed by Sakura. Mito has certainly grown over the past 3 years. Her red hair was a lot longer, not to mention she had a figure that would make most boys, especially Kiba, go crazy. But she didn't seem to have an interest in them. Minato was glad she was a little princess, and he was glad how long she would stay that way for. As he smiled as he saw her, she placed down the scroll on the desk. Mission complete, she said, with a smile on her face. Beside her was Sakura. The Chunin exam came once again. Sakura had passed and she became a Chunin. Mito on the other hand was currently a Jonin. That is why it was currently the both of them alone and not a squad. And it was a simple B rank that they could handle. Sakura has also grown over the past 3 years, not to mention with Tsunade tutorage. The girl has gotten stronger, a lot stronger. As Minato took the scroll, "Is Menma coming back today?" asked Mito. As Minato nodded, he should be back any moment now from what I read in the letter. Mito smiled that she missed her brother. They got letters every now and then, but she hadn't been able to see him, and she really missed him a lot. Not to mention Hinata missed him a lot as well, so they couldn't wait to have him back. Meanwhile, across the village, as Kushina was currently training with Ami, the third member of Team 6. Ami had stuck up her fighting style with Kinjutsu like her sister, Yujiro. Ami realized that throughout the team between Menma and Mito, she was the weakest, and seeing that she utterly failed the exam, she pushed herself. Seeing that she never stand a chance against ninja when they battle, she pushed herself to a ridiculous degree, so much so that she could battle Kushina in Kinjutsu, forcing Kushina to even put in effort into it. And Kushina was renounced known as a blade master, the red hot habanero. The both of them came to a stop. "You've gotten a lot better." "Thanks. I've been training with my sister, every now and then when she's free." As Kushina smiled at that, Ami had personally asked for her assistance, which Kushina didn't mind giving out. Menma was out there, training, getting stronger. Mito was training, getting stronger as well, and she was left all alone. Minato was mostly busy, so she took on Ami as basically her own student. Ami was able to blow through Chunin exams rather quickly, which something made Kushina incredibly proud of her. Things were going well in the village, as Kushina didn't bother to think about him, but she knew that he was not dead despite there has been nothing on him at all. She knew that he was still out there, he was still alive. Time skip. He took in a deep breath. As he exhaled, Menma stood in front of the village gates. Jiraiya looked towards him and smiled, seeing the happy look on his face, knowing that he was back. back towards his village. As Minma has grown ridiculously so. He was 6 foot. Yes, he has gotten taller. Not to mention the muscles on his arms. He seemed to have pushed himself in physical training a lot. His hair was down into his back. He had 2 bangs firmly inside of his face. He had cut his hair like his father. Minma wanted to be so much like his father. He wanted to be the next Hokage. He wanted to be great like his father. That is why he got a new nickname, the Second Flash. Because Minma, over the past 3 years, has been able to replicate something that no one else seemed to be able to do, the Harashin. And that put him on a different scale because of the speed of the technique. While not as completely efficient as Minato, Minma could use it towards his wimp. Minma felt confident enough that he could kill Naruto before Naruto even knew. The remaining chakra inside of him, the Biju's chakra, he was able to master it and use it, healing his wounds, for that extra speed and extra boost. Minma was confident enough that no one could stand in his way now. Not to mention he had to find Sasuke and bring him back to the village. Sasuke, he let his mind get judged by unholy thoughts. Both of them wanted Naruto dead, but Sasuke wanted, because of his family. Minma couldn't fault him for that, but leaving the village was not something Minma respected. As Sasuke made him really angry about that, but he had come to terms with that. But he will find him and bring him back no matter what. That was one of his goals right after killing his brother and releasing his family from their suffering. As Minma flashed away in a burst of speed, leaving Jiraiya. Jiraiya sighed. He knew that the kid would do that. For the entire time, most of the time he was moping about missing his girlfriend. Writing just couldn't do. As Minma was making his way towards the Haikyuu compound, he would go back to his father rather quickly, but he needed to see Hinata. After 3 years of missing her, he needed to see her. To his luck though, before he could even reach, he saw Hinata walking down the street. Hinata! Hinata stopped as she turned. With the sun high in the sky, for a moment there it clouded her vision. As she saw Naruto walking towards her, a grown, powerful, more manly Naruto walking towards her. Hinata stepped back, a bit worried. But a clear way to show his face. It was Minma. Minma! She ran forward as he grabbed her in his arms and swung her around. He didn't hesitate to plant a lovely kiss on her lips, which she happily gave him back as both of them hold each other tightly and sweetly. He just took in the warmth of her and how much she has grown. Certain thoughts popped in his head, but he calmed them for now. As he let her down. I missed you so much. Me too, she said. Letters just couldn't do it for me. As she kissed him once again, which he kissed back. The both of them realized that they were in the middle of the street. They moved off. As he just smiled at her, his sappy smile. She looked him over, he has grown. He has gotten so much more handsome. He looked her over, she has grown as well. Her body, her figure, her face. She's now even more beautiful than before. He couldn't help but admire her beauty. But I'm sure my father will want to talk to me. Wait, you haven't visited him yet? Come on, he said. Why don't you come with me? She took his hand as they made their way. At the office, as Jiraiya was talking to Minato, when Minma walked inside. Well, I knew I wouldn't be here for his visit, even though I am the Hokage, said Minato. Sorry about that, said Minma, as he scratched the back of his head just like Minato used to do. As Minato looked over his son. You have grown. Splendidly so, I can see. I've just been talking to Jiraiya here about your skills that you have gained over the past couple of years. I'm sure that he's not over-exaggerating, am I? Well, if you want to, father. See, why don't you test me yourself? Minato chuckled. You want to challenge your dad, he said. Well, that's the only way to prove that I've gotten stronger. Me versus you, father. What do you say? As Minato smiled. Well then, I was gonna put you up against your old sensei, but I guess this is the right way to go. After all, I want to see how far you've come with the Harashin. Before that, you should go and visit your mother. She misses you so much. Not to mention your sister wants to see you as well. I see you already caught up with Hinata. As that made Minma blush, and Hinata did as well. Well, tonight we will talk, and tomorrow we will battle. For now, go and catch up with the others. As Minma nodded, as he took Hinata and made his way off, Hinata gave him a small bow. Minato's face turned serious as he turned back to Jiraiya. He has grown indeed. Don't worry, he can handle himself. Against him, asked Minato. I don't know, said Jiraiya. There has been nothing. It's like he died. What if he did? Said Minato. Something I highly doubt, said Jiraiya, but it's almost like he did die. There has been nothing. And the attacks, these missing links from the Hidden Stone, they have becoming quite frequent lately. More and more of them are turning up. I refuse to believe that so many missing links are coming out of the blue and attacking all of a sudden. Me too, said Jiraiya. But without proof, there's nothing we can do about it. He said that he's missing links, and he's willing to throw them under the bus even if they die. This world is getting sticky once again, Jiraiya. I think another world war is about to start. Jiraiya sighed at that. With the Hidden Stone facing off against Konoha, he was sure that the other villages would try to take advantage of their weak situation. They would think that they are weak, and they would jump in right away. That is what Minato hated with this world. So did Jiraiya. Now, things were just getting worse as the days tracked on. Well then, let's just hope for the time being Naruto stays dead. Because if he is joining the fray any moment now, things are gonna get even worse. Any news on Sasuke? Asked Minato. Jiraiya shook his head. Damn it, where could that boy have gone? As much as I'm angry that he deserted the village, Mikoto was my friend, and I don't want anything to happen to him, said Minato, as he released a tired sigh. Meanwhile, far away from Konoha, up in the hidden mountains, there was a village. A daimyo lived up there that was in charge of a land of mountain. It wasn't a big place like any of the hidden villages. Comparing the village's size, it was like Taki compared to size. But there was a rather large place, and suited for all kinds of people. But the thing is, the people here weren't normal. Well, they were normal before, but all the normal residents had been slaughtered. Having more people expand the Jashin, well, cult, that was Naruto's main desire after all. But when the girls started to join those psychotic, twisted girls, it became more fun. They needed somewhere bigger and better, so Naruto took the most secluded place, up in the mountains, where he decimated the entire population and brought his people here. It had expanded over the past 3 years. Finding all the corrupted, twisted, psychotic people in this world wasn't really hard. Some people are on the edge of breaking and losing their sanity, but Jashin brought them peace, lust, power, which they dive in so deeply. At the moment, Hidan wasn't here because he was a part of the Akatsuki. Yes, Naruto knew that, after all. He was the one that told him to accept the offer when he was approached by the group. At this very moment, in the largest mansion on the hidden mountain that stood on the tallest mountain looking over a large rushing peak, was the one and only, what would you call him, a ghost? After all, for the past 3 years no one has seen him. He has not shown his face to the population, except his people here that were growing in number by the days goes on. At this very moment, as Naruto sat down, Naruto has changed over the past 3 years. It must be because of the influence of Jashin and the Kyuubi, but he was big. He was large. At the moment, he was currently 6'4" in height, muscles defined, bulging but fitting him perfectly. He wasn't wearing a shirt, in fact he wasn't wearing anything at all as he was sitting down. You know, I think it's about time that I let them know that I'm alive. After all, everything seemed to be clicking perfectly now, he said. So I think it's time that I realign myself with the outside world, society, he said. Don't you think? As he looked over towards the bed. Lying on the bed was none other than Dora herself, who was changed as well over the past 3 years. Her hair was still red, beautiful as ever. Her eyes had a bit of darkness in them now, but that didn't change her cute expression that seemed to get a lot more cute over the past 3 years. Not to mention her body has increasing in certain areas that made Naruto, desired even more. At the moment, she was listening to him, but she was also making out with a black-haired beauty that was diving into the kiss like a hungry animal. As Naruto looked over and smiled before a look of absolute pleasure came on his face. It was then a girl brought her head up from where she was down below. "You taste as amazing as always, Naruto-sama," she said, as she licked her lips. As Naruto grabbed her by the neck, instead of being in pain or angry, the girl seemed to enjoy it as he lifted her up with one arm, showing immense strength as he threw her towards the bed. She dropped with a pleasurous smile on her face. That was when Black Tails grabbed her and lifted her up. As they spread her arms and spread her legs, the tails were coming from the black-haired girl that Gaara was kissing, and that was no ordinary girl. It was the Kyuubi, who was currently going by the name Zana. The Kyuubi was just a title, and she's calling herself Zana at the moment. Was she free from the seal? No, she was not. Yet this was a way of pushing the seal limits. They still needed something for her to get free, and that was a key. And Naruto did not have that. And Naruto's body has become too much familiar with her chakra for her to break through the seal. His body simply absorbed her chakra recently. But Naruto found a way around it, creating a blood clone, using a piece of his blood to break the boundary between sealing and unsealing. Naruto placed her soul inside the clone, and when she emerged, she got her full vitality with it. She could fight, but not for too long because she had to return. It had a time limit, but could go on for a while. He did the same thing with Jashin. The moment he freed Jashin, she was delighted, but yet she frowned in anger because she could not stay out like the Kyuubi. Because of what she was, her spirit could not be anchored to this world. So the moment she got out, she had to return back to Naruto immediately. She was forced back inside, something that she hated, as she wanted the experience of freedom as well, but she could not. That is why every now and then Naruto let her take over his body to do as she pleased. As the Kyuubi used her tail to hold up the girl in the ear, the girl simply bowed her head in pleasure. "Do as you must with me, Naruto-sama," she said. "I am yours." "Damn right you are," said Naruto, as Gaara looked over with a smile. She rather enjoyed the sight after all. She didn't mind Naruto doing this with other girls as long as he knew who he was supposed to come back with. And for one thing, she didn't like other guys. None of them were like Naruto in any sense of the way. And only Kyuubi had this feeling that get her senses moving as well. She had met the both of them through Naruto, and the both of them did some things in front of her, showing her, pleasures beyond her wildest desire once she was able to enter Naruto's mindscape. And that was just intense. Other girls were not up to the task. Normal girls. These girls that were in love with Jashin as well. They were psychotic, and they enjoyed it. They enjoyed doing things that were out of the normal, something that Gaara really liked. And Naruto liked it even more, as this has been going on for the past 3 days. A celebration of sorts, to Naruto finally ascending toward this perfect level. That is why there were so many girls on the ground pass out from exhaustion or from just their brain reaching a heights state of ecstasy. It was just too much for them as they blacked out completely. But Naruto wasn't done yet. His stamina was on another level. He has been going for the past 3 days and he hasn't gotten tired. And he didn't intend to end time soon. Time skip. Hours later, as Naruto stood on the mountain peak, he was wearing a black cloak that fluttered behind him. His hair was a mixture of black and silver, fitting him quite perfectly as there was a patch of silver here and there. As he wasn't wearing any shirt under his black cloak, showing his well-toned chest with muscles rippling and bulging everywhere. 2 arms were wrapped around his stomach, and that was from Gaara. As she was behind him, Gaara has also grown as well, although not on his height. Her face was placed in his back. The Kyuubi was backing the seal, after all. She found this strange attachment to Jashin recently, and she didn't want her to be alone, so she had to return every now and then to make sure that she was okay. Although she would, she just didn't want to let her feel bored in there. After all, while they were out having fun, she was stuck in there and she could not be released like her. As Naruto had markings going down his arms, strange markings that looked like tattoo. They were circular around his arms, black circles carrying around all of his arms going down. There were 10 in total on each, so that made it 20. On his chest were 2 horns, 2 black horns, and an eye. An eye was right above his stomach. Yes, a single eye cracked open. It was black, with red in the center of it. As he was wearing black pants and black boots, as he looked down into the warm, crashing waters, the water was stirring as there was something moving underneath it. Something large, something black. Gaara came around him. "Are you ready?" she asked. "To make my debut," said Naruto, as he had a smile on his face. Despite how much he has grown, he still enjoyed the surprise, the shocked looks on people's faces. After all, through all these years, people thought that he was dead. Not to mention Sasuke, who had joined the Akatsuki. He didn't think that the brat had it in him to leave Konoha. Well, that didn't concern Naruto. And he's also heard about the second Flash. Yes, he has gotten news from everywhere. After all, the Jashinis could blend in as normal people, even though they were bloodthirsty and psychopathic. And not to mention they were killing any Konoha ninja they come by. And also wearing a stone headband, just to put things off the scale. The hidden stone was also involved because Oniki had started what Naruto told him to do. But yet Oniki was kind of furious, as Naruto showed the man to be angry when he meet him once again. Because all these 3 years he hasn't been there in person, not even once. Orochimaru. Naruto knew where he is. Naruto did not tell Orochimaru something, but he knew exactly where he was because of those crystals that he gave him. Darkness inside of them was a tracker that he could find Orochimaru anywhere. Doesn't matter where he run. And it doesn't matter if he destroyed them because Orochimaru had them in his possession for a long time now, thinking that he could use these to summon Naruto. Naruto didn't trust Orochimaru one bit. The man was too obsessed with him, and if Naruto went for guys, he wouldn't go for Orochimaru. So the man was after his body. He couldn't get Sasuke, no, he wanted him. He had a lot of followers and Naruto could use them towards his own means, after pushing his dominance over them. As Naruto stretched his neck as he looked up into the heavens, as he smiled a wicked smile, his mouth seemed to extend to ridiculous degrees, showing off a toothy smile. He had fangs, long fangs like a vampire. Well, in a sense, seeing that he feasts on people's blood in enjoyment, perhaps he was one. As Naruto looked down towards the edge, before jumping off, as Gaara watched him with a smile, it made her smile, seeing how things have changed. Things that she never expected to do, things that she never thought she would feel, ever in her life, things had just been so amazing. She wouldn't give this up for nothing at all. Nothing, no matter what it was. She would stay by his side until the end. Well, with him, there didn't seem to be an end, she thought to herself. She watched Naruto as he landed on something rather large. The thing emerged out of the water as she smiled seeing it. As Naruto has done a lot over the past 3 years, it wasn't just fun and games. A lot has been done. Yes. And this world would surely shake to its core once he was done. Time skip. Throughout all of the conflicts that were going on, Kumo was being quite neutral. Yes, they were, as they haven't gone out of their way to attack Konoha or the Hidden Stone or anything yet. At this very moment, one of their Jinchurikis, Yujita, was currently on a mission. She was the leader of this team that she was with. She knew them quite well. Well, not all of them. Samui was one of her close friends. The other ones were Amoy and Karu. As Samui was on a team with them, Yujito had far outranked all of them when it comes towards power and strength. And she was the one leading this mission. The mission was over though, as they were coming back towards the village. Amoy, the boy in the team, was quite crazy sometimes, thinking about things that might happen in the future. And Karu kept on punching him over the head. Yujito didn't know how Samui could keep up with this, because to her they were rather annoying. She didn't socialize much with people. She mostly stayed by herself, given that when she was younger, it wasn't really good. After all, her life wasn't really that nice. She was trained from a young age, as she mostly considered herself as a weapon, a tool for Kumo to use. She just recently started to get a life of her own, but nothing too special or out of the way. Things were going fine so far. She had nothing to worry about. She was a Jinchuriki. People were afraid to face her. Well, that is what she thought. As the group was making their way, they suddenly came to a stop as Samui turned her head, feeling something strange. They had yet to enter the land of lightning. Samui was a censor like her cousin C, not as powerful as him. But judging from the other's reaction, you feel it as well? Yeah, said Karu, confused because she was not a censor. Hey, who's that? Amoy said. They hadn't yet entered their land of lightning. They were still out here out in the open. Whoever it is, we don't have time for this, said Yujito, as she walked forward, only to see a man sitting there. His back was turned to them, as he was eating something. Yes, it was fish on a piece of steak which he tore around, as he tossed the fish into his mouth. Samui's eyes went wide when she noticed that his mouth extended beyond ridiculous beliefs, as he swallowed the whole fish like it was nothing. They narrowed their eyes. They decided to just move past this whoever it was because they were not yet in the land of lightning. The man got to his feet. I've been waiting for you, he said, as he turned. Who are you? Said Yujito. Has the world already forgotten me? Said Naruto, as he looked towards them. They had no idea who this was. Well, perhaps I can jog your memory. Have you ever heard of Naruto? The one to face off against his own father and betray Konoha. Wait, you're alive? Said Karu. Of course she knew of him, people were talking about him. The one that was able to escape from Namikaze. The brother of the second Flash, said Amoy. Please don't refer to me as the brother of second Flash like he's the better one, said Naruto. You know, that really wounds me. Perhaps I might take your left eye for that, said Naruto. What? As Amoy blinked, Samui shot forward as she brought her blade up, stopping. Naruto claws inches away from Amoy's eye, as Naruto jumped back with a laughable expression. Amoy gulped, still unable to move. Shock. He almost wet himself as Yujito stepped forward. I don't know what the hell you're doing here or what you're trying to do, but this ends now. As Naruto raised his hand. Perhaps I was sent here, he said. What? Well, you see, perhaps this was all a game by my father, so I could destroy your villages without Konoha being blamed. Perhaps my father sent me here as a weapon to destroy your village. After all, I am the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto said that smile. The four of them narrowed their eyes. So it wouldn't be above my father to send a weapon into a minefield, acting like I was the one that was responsible, when it was a sound and a sand that invaded and attacked Konoha, but I was supposed to be used as a weapon. Are you trying to tell me that Hokage is behind this? Said Yujito. Perhaps, perhaps not. Well, you there. You have fast reactions. Why don't you go and tell your Raikage that? Yujito narrowed her eyes. And what do you mean by that? Well, you see, I'm kind of here for you. As he looked towards Yujito, and these other two, I don't really like them. Don't know why. As Naruto looked over at Karu, maybe it's because she's so flat. What did you just say? Yeah, I don't like flat girls, especially girls that are shaped like a board. You have no shape. She pulled out her blade. Karu, don't let him go to into anything. Karu clenched her blade tight. And you just seem real stupid, as Amoy pulled out his blade as well. I can't jutsu match, huh? Said Naruto, as he then turned his head towards Yujito. You have something I want. And what is that? Oh, that beast in your gut, said Naruto. You see, I want it for something. So do you mind handing it over? You'll have to kill me first. As she extended her claws. I am sorry, but that won't be happening. Oh, is that so? Said Naruto, as he held up his hand as a black smoke started together, before it created a blade. As the blade seemed to block out all light, the sun couldn't reflect on it as Naruto swiped it through the ground. The ground itself started to tear apart just by him swiping on it. Well then, it's been a while since I tested myself against a real ninja. Well, if you could even call yourself that. How about we kick this up a notch? He vanished. Amoy moved as he cried out in pain. His left ear was sliced off as a hand slammed into his chest. As his ribcage fractured, blood exploded out of his mouth. As Karu jumped forward, but Naruto grabbed her blade with his palm before driving it right through Amoy's skull. Karu's eyes went wide before Naruto tear her eyes out. He didn't hesitate, he tear her eyes out of the socket, throwing her to the side. Yujito came pouncing down as the entire ground exploded. She decimated the ground as her body was cloaked in blue flames. As Naruto jumped back with a smile on his face, looking quite playful as he swung his blade around. You know, I hadn't had much practice in Kinjutsu, but I think this will do, he said. As he tossed it towards her, she blasted it away. But to her surprise, it leached. The Biju Chakra. Kitten. This guy. Whatever he is, he's not normal. What do you mean not normal? I sense something within him. Something I can't explain. I think you should get out of here. Take Samui and run, transform, and try to blow up this entire rage to stop him from following you. Is he really that dangerous? Kitten, just listen to me. I don't want you to die here, fighting a meaningless battle. Samui, get behind me. Quickly! As Samui listened to Yujito as she moved back, still shocked that Naruto was able to take down those two so easily. As Karu was about to get up as she just got blinded after all, she was not dead. Samui stopped. She could grab her and bring her as well. But Yujito wasted no time as she transformed. The giant two-tailed Nibi hovering over Naruto. As she held her mount up before lowering it, blue flames washed over the entire ridge, burning everything as the rocks came collapsing down. As they trampled upon Naruto, she turned and used her tails and slammed him on the ground, causing the mountainside to collapse as the rocks came rolling down the ridge, dropping as she fired a ball of flames that ignite everything, the flames burning everything to cinders. Yujito looked down while nearly before him. As Samui was angry, she didn't get to save Karu. Whatever this guy was, he needed to be taken down. Not to mention if Konoha was really behind this. You see what I mean? Her blood went cold as she turned to see Naruto holding Karu by the throat. Her clothing was ripped as she was exposed completely naked. No size, no shape, no figure, as he ran his hand down her body before ripping his claws into her chest. Flat like a board, he ducked as she tried to slice his head right off. He still held on to the body, as the girl was long dead, yet he was mocking her body like it was nothing. He turned and threw it towards the Nibi, as it slammed right on her flames, burning the body. Samui moved as Nibi jumped, before coming down the massive explosion, destroying the remaining ridge. She quickly descended from the form as she grabbed Samui and leaped forward, using her quick speed to get the hell out of there. Whatever this guy was, he had the Nibi scared, and Yujito was someone who took warnings, especially from the person inside of her who could judge someone on their strength and their speed. She let Samui down after they got a good distance away. As Samui turned towards her, was he really that strong? It was the first she ever saw Yujito run from battle. First in her life. I don't know what he is, but he has a Nibi concern. As Samui clenched her fists. Concern. Oh, does that mean she's afraid? The both of them stood there shocked. How? As he looked towards the destroyed path. As Naruto returned back to normal. Did he flew here or something? There was no way that he could have gotten past her. Blue flames ignite on her claws. Go back to Kumo. I'll hold him off. I can't. He's go! This is the order from your superior. Inform the Raikage. Samui clenched her fists as she nodded as she rushed off. She had listed her superior. Well, I was gonna leave her alive, said Naruto. You know, a group known as the Akatsuki is coming for you. They're gonna take you and take the Bichu inside of you for God knows what. But you see me, I want it for a different reason. So would you mind just lying down and giving your body to me? I promise. I won't use it for underhand means. She snarled as she launched herself forward. I'll rip you to pieces, she said, for what you did. Slashing Naruto duck. She brought her foot up and slammed it into his chest. To her surprise, he did not budge. His muscles felt like rock This time she twists her body and fills her leg with so much chakra. As she swings it towards his head, he ducked once again. As the wall was blown apart, she flipped as she brought her claw hands down, ripping through the air, slice. As she carved him across the chest. As markings, 8 long markings from her nails, slashed into his chest. As he staggered back, she shot forward as she brought her leg up and slammed it under his chin. But his head did not recoil. He used brute force and pushed her leg down. As she saw his chest, black smoke seeping out of it, and yet it returned back normal, like he never got hurt. That moment of hesitation caused her as a fist slammed into her face. She felt like she was being hit by a train as her body was launched. The speed that she was launched with, she whistled through the air before crashing into another mountainside. As Naruto looked down at his fist, I guess I overdid it. You should really watch your strength, Naruto-kun. You've been practicing on this, said Jashin. Yeah, sorry about that, said Naruto. I hope she didn't die from that. I don't think so, said the Kyuubi. She should be able to survive that. Go and find out. As Naruto stepped forward before he vanished, Yujito pulled herself out of the wall. Her body was in tremendous pain as she dropped, coughing up blood. As she slowly picked herself up, her shirt in tatters, barely hiding her modesty. She was hit with something intense as she screamed out in pain. As she dropped, realized that it was fire, but yet it didn't burn her skin badly. But her clothes was gone. The view is lovely, said Naruto as he stepped forward. She stepped back as her nails extended as she stabbed them into the ground, pumping as much as she could. The ground under Naruto's feet cracked as blue flames swallowed him. She wasted no time as she slammed both hands together as she flashed through hand sign. Lightning release. Electric magnetic murder, she said. She slammed her hand down. A current jetted from her fingers and slammed into the burned Naruto. As she waited, the smoke cleared away to see Naruto as he sucked. He literally sucked in all of her blue flames into his mouth. As he swallowed it, steam coming from his mouth. That was quite refreshing. She stood there in absolute shock, as she couldn't believe that she was bested like this. No, she would not! As she transformed, exploding out of the area. She pounced on Naruto as she destroyed the ground, crushing him under her paw. She grabbed him with her tail and slammed him into the wall. As she gathered chakra, as she started to form a Bichu bomb, before she launched it right towards him, as it swallowed the entire area in a titanic blast, tearing apart everything as several mountain peaks dropped. The explosion was causing a lot of unwanted attention. As she returned back to normal, panting, she coughed up blood. Stay still, kitten. He did a real number to your body. I'm working on it. Well, he shouldn't be able to get up from that, said Yujito. That was when she jumped away despite her aching body, as fangs were about to pierce in her throat. How are you alive? She asked in complete shock. She dropped down to one knee. As Naruto looked towards his hand, I guess you weren't that strong as you thought. She was then grabbed from behind as she was locked in a pose where she could not get out, as she was bitten in the neck. She felt her body getting weaker as she fought it, but yet she could not fight it off. As she was thrown towards the ground, as Naruto licked his lips, the smoke clone vanishing. She has a wonderful taste, he said. It's a shame that she won't survive the extraction. As he picked her up and threw her over his shoulder, as he vanished in a burst of smoke, leaving the area. When the Shinobis finally arrived, chaos was there. Nothing but destruction and chaos. Time skip. What? The Raikage was pissed as a man smashed its table, obliterating it. As he just heard that Yujito was taken. Samui had returned back to the village and she passed out. She was rushed towards the hospital. The girl was running so fast. she did not rest at all. And she told his ninjas to report the message to him immediately. He never suspected that Minato would be so underhanded to do something like this, but he could not trust that boy face value. But if Minato was really behind this, he needed to know. Yes, he needed to know as he clenched his fist tight. Kumo and Konoha has always been neutral, not attacking each other. But if Minato wanted to start something because he was getting in problem with the Hidden Stone, then A wasn't afraid. After all, he was as fast as Minato. Minato was fast, but he was fast as well, so he did not fear the man, Yellow Flash or not. Kumo will not bow down to any village, and now that Yujito got caught up in the mix of one of his Jinchurikis, he needed answers. Mabe, as Mabe came inside the room, his secretary, as she knew that something was wrong. "You can go," he said to the ninja, as the man left the office. "Yes, sir," said Mabe. Time skip Konoha. Minato was impressed. Kushina was hugging on to Menma. Minato had to admit he at least put in the work. The both of them just had their back and he had to say he was impressed. Menma wasn't lacking in his training. He had sparred many times before with Mito, and the girl was truly amazing, adopting Tsunade's super strength, and not to mention her mother chakra chains. They were ready, whatever this world had to throw towards them. He looked up as he heard a call, as a crow flew over his head. The crow looked down towards him as it landed on a nearby branch. Minato focused on the crow. As he glared at the thing, he didn't know if it was a normal bird or if he was being watched. The crow then took off as it just flew away, without doing anything. Minato watched as the bird just flew away. Time skip. As the bird landed down on Naruto's shoulder, as he smiled, the bird turned into black mist and seeped into his body. He smiled, he full on cackled to the world. "Wonderful, wonderful," he said. As Gaara came over, "Is it time?" she asked. "Yes. That will keep Kumo busy for a while. It's time that we alert this world of our presence. Show them that we're not dead," said Naruto, his grin stretching so wide it seemed abnormal. A sick, twisted smile on his face. But guys, me ends episode right here. If you want to see this person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the What If Konoha Anime King. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.